I have to confess, I was dragged kicking and screaming into doing digital. I was very happy with film. I thought everything in the world was fine with film. Why would I want to ruin it with digital? Having said that, that immediate feedback on the back of the camera is so important to my particular creative process now that you literally couldn't drag me back to film, which is ironic. The great thing about reviewing the image on the back of the camera is you see right away what you have, and you also see how the viewer is going to experience the image. Are they going to get distracted by some bright tones? Is some tree growing out of your subject's head going to ruin the picture? So you see it right away, and then you can immediately say, okay, so even though I saw this, that's actually what's becoming the strongest part of the image. And then I go down and I pursue that thread, and I'll look at the back of the camera and I'll realize, okay, it's kind of going this way and then that way, and I keep experimenting and looking. And somewhere in that process of making all those pictures, the horizontals, the verticals, changing focus, looking at the back of the camera, somewhere in all that steps is where the really, really good picture lies. So in the short time that I've been here, it seems to me, both from what I'm seeing and what I'm seeing in the pictures that I'm making, the place, probably logically, is a balance between sort of a lot of technology and actual real-life people using it. And so the photographs that I'm going to make ideally will convey both of those. Probably a tug of war, some more technological, some more human. So I'm switching back now to the camera with the fixed focal length lens, the 90, and I'm going to do some more stuff playing with focus, primarily focusing on the way that people decorate the spaces and make it kind of human as versus the technology that's all around them. One of the things I talk a lot in my classes about is the idea of looking at the work of other photographers. So I was looking over here at actually a bottle, and behind it was Kathy, and I was looking at that and I flashed on a picture that Bert Stern made. I think it's a liquor ad, believe it or not, and it was the idea of having the bottle in focus and the person out with very, very shallow depth of field. And I made a bunch of variations of that. And I'm not sure it's necessarily going to work for the project, which is about the space and stuff, but it's a photograph that I'm pretty happy with, at least looking at right now. I may work on it a little bit more, but that's the starting point right there. And this idea of looking at other people's photographs so they go into that mental hard drive that we all have and then come out as your own photographs is something that I think is really important, and I encourage all students to be doing, to look at other people's work. So with that last picture, I was going on kind of the opposite theme. I was trying to actually look at sort of the technology first and the people second. And the angle that I was using was such that I have a picture where Kathy is very small and all the technology is sort of overwhelming her. And depending on the kind of story that I'm trying to tell, I'm going to make that choice. Is it about this space as a place that's very human and alive and about the people? Or is it maybe a space that's more sort of technological and the people are dominated? One is not better than the other, but each one serves differently in the story you're trying to tell. And my job is always to come home with both of them and then decide later. Because again, I shoot very loose, and that's one of the lessons I really hope students take away from the class. I shoot a lot of pictures, ideally horizontals and verticals. In fact, I think I'm going to go redo this now as a vertical. And as many different ideas as I can, so when I go back, I've got a lot of choices to choose from. And while I was shooting, I noticed that if I step back just a little bit, I could get this sort of intermediate picture where it was a bigger portion of sort of humanity and less technological. And so I've got essentially three versions already. One is person first, technology second, and then I went the other way like that, which is very technological, person very small. And then the last one, I'm kind of playing with the balance. And for me, to have all three of those coming out of a shoot, that means I'm doing what I want to do.